Most real estate investors are losing deals because they can't handle objections. And I know this because I have worked with over 1,000 real estate investors and wholesalers in the last 5 years. I have helped them make over $50 million in assignment fees just from online ads alone. Most wholesalers and investors freeze up when a seller tells you, I need to think about it, or I need to look at my options. Or even worse, your price is way too low. They get a motivated seller on the phone, everything looks great, and then the objection comes up and everything falls apart and you can't close. If that sounds familiar? You're not alone. At the beginning of my business, this happened to me until I learned how to handle objections. But what if I told you that there's a proven system, a step-by-step on handling every single objection possible? And I've learned this with NEPQ. It was created by Jeremy Miner and now adopted by John Lalande, and all their students are closing deals at 30 to 40% of every book call. That means that every single seller conversation could potentially turn into a closed contract. It all comes down to knowing how to prevent objections, and when they come up, you can actually deframe them and reframe them so you can lead the conversation and ultimately get the property under contract. And I'm about to show you the exact techniques that John Lalande teaches his students and Jeremy Miner has put together for you in the real estate investment and wholesaling space so that you can actually follow it step by step. And this is not just theory, this is actually something that works because me and my team actually have signed up for Jeremy Miner program, and I know it works because our sales team is closing deals at a higher conversion ratio. So if you want to learn the step-by-step system on how to actually get a motivated seller and close it at a higher conversion because you're already generating leads, or if you're actually looking to learn how to do it from scratch, that's totally okay. This is going to help you. We're going to go dive into the step-by-step and see John Lalande handling a few of these objections and explaining why some of these objections actually happen. You can also check out these other videos that explains the NEPQ system and everything else. We will cover the top 4 types of objections and how to prevent it. Let's do it.
Mo better. All right, what's up, everybody? John Lalande and Esteban Estrade going at it. And today, Esteban's team did something really cool. So if you guys don't know, Esteban runs a marketing agency called Hessel Media, where they not only generate the leads, but they also set appointments for people to come in and close. And Esteban and I have some mutual clients. Esteban just texted me and said, hey, you know what my assistant just did is she put together a list of calls from your students that were overcoming objections. And we decided we were going to give you guys a little bit of a treat and show you guys the ins and outs of some of our client calls. So what do you say, Esteban? Should we show them under the hood?
Let's make it happen. Now,
let's do it.
Just to be aware, this may call out some of the students that still are working on their skill sets, but good evaluation because this is the real life scenario. Like this is not in a role play. This is not you actually preparing yourself for that specific objection. You just get it. So my team, like John actually mentioned, put together this, and I want to show you guys because it's really, really cool. And we have this spreadsheet right in here that goes over different clips of different objections that the NEPQ students had to overcome, right? So, for example, this objection that was essentially handled or overcame was that the seller was not opening up to Jameson in this situation, right? I think you know Jameson, right?
Yeah,
or the seller was only caring about price, so it was started having price-driven conversation, right? Or the seller was scared and had fear. Okay. No, actually, no, I don't want to scare my seller. Or they say they want to sell, but they keep delaying. So there's a stalling, right? Which could become, it could be underlying situations that they have or objections that we haven't really found. So this is really cool. And actually, if you do it in your own team as a sales manager, this is also something that you can use as like a training material. So we're gonna go over each one of them. Maybe John, we can just pick and choose the best ones to go to. This
Let's do it.
and
By the way,
this
you're not
one-
sharing your screen, so we gotta share again. If you can bring up your screen again, or if
Okay.
you want, I could pull it up and I could
If
do
you-
it. I got it right here.
Okay, go for it.
Here we go. I do need to make sure that we are sharing audio.
Yeah.
So let me see. We should be sharing audio. If you can hear it, they can hear it. So let's look at a couple of these. So my sellers, people say that my sellers don't open up to me. Jameson opens up unsure, relaxed, and non-threatening. I didn't know if I had the right number. Does it still work for you? So that's a pretty common one, right?
Yeah.
So the sellers are not opening up. We'll take a listen to this one first.
Okay.
And I'm going to share this tab.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we should be able to hear this. Let's take a listen.
Hello.
Hi, Melina?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Melina. This is just Jameson, and Jameson buys houses. I just called a little bit. I didn't know if I had the right number, but yeah, you booked a time for me to call you right now. Does this still work for you?
I don't. I booked so many times because yes, this is good time as any.
Okay, cool. So, I'm not sure if you poked around our website, saw what we do, but people that we're typically working with are usually looking to sell their homes pretty quickly, like without having to do repairs or.
Oh yeah, that's okay. I'll let me give you my story really fast, and then we can move on from there. Okay. My husband is an alcoholic, and for the last 8 years, he has not worked. He's not done anything. He's not helped me with not one bill for 8 years. And the house is getting. Well, first of all, I can't do all this myself, even if I wanted to, or even if I had the money. You know what I mean? Because I'm a woman and I'm 50. So it's like, and then I went and broke my arm.
Oh no!
I had to have surgery, have screws put in a plate. I mean, so it's a nightmare. So it's like even more. I can't even put clean on it. It's making me crazy. But the house is the electrical is really horrible. Like literally, there has been like 3 or 4 ballots have been on fire. And he's an alcoholic. And and I've been at my daughter's at some of these times. No insurance on the house because, because I can't afford it, basically, pretty much. And I just can't take it no more. That's the thing. I made him believe that we're going to lose property taxes. And of course, I'm not going to do that. But there's been a couple times that we almost did, and I didn't know it because he hid the papers. That is how stupid I'm sorry. Yeah, 3 days one time. We were 3 days shy of losing our house. I don't ask me why. It's the alcohol. You know how that is.
Oh, I do. I understand that.
So I guess
let's pause it. We'll talk about some of the things he did well.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about one right out of the gate, right? What a lot of people do wrong when they're opening up their call is they'll say, hey, like this is a little bit about me. This is a little bit about who I am. And what you're doing when you do that, you say, hey, this is who I am. This is what we do. Is you're qualifying yourself to the seller, right? So you're like going up to them and basically starting to pitch them in the first 10 to 15 seconds. And so what he did really well is he said, yeah, most of the people that we work with, they typically reach out to us for these reasons. They're looking to sell quicker. They're looking to maybe sell without the repairs, without the showings. Is that what you were looking for? And then this lady just starts spilling guts. She just starts opening up. Now, what he also did well is he kept her going in the right direction by using something we call verbal cues. So if you notice, if you listen to this, if you listen back to it, you can hear him go, oh my gosh. Oh gosh, that's got to be so hard on you. Wow. No, I completely understand. And he is being empathetic with the seller, which is one of the main things that we train when a seller starts to open up, is to slow down and be empathetic with the seller. So that way they continue going down that vein. They continue to talk about their pain points. You got anything to add on that?
No, yeah. I mean, I think that he put himself in a positioning where he was in non-threatening, trying to ultimately take over this person or a lot of people end up, like you said, being more talking about themselves and only about the company, and they essentially create some sort of resistance. They create some sort of
Hmm.
defensive mechanism inside, and they're not sure they're doing it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it could work for a very small percentage of homeowners, but then they already
Hmm.
are guarded up, and that's why they can't get the person to really share intimate emotional things. So I think that's like one of the points that we had written down about this
Yeah.
part. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a listen to this second part. So this part, he is going to start to clarify and probe, right? So that was just a lot of listening, just active listening. But you want to make sure that you continue to clarify and probe and you continue to build up that urgency. So we're going to listen to that part next.
Yeah.
By the way, great lead,
Oh
Esteban.
man, how long have you been dealing with that? Just since he's like
Um,
alcoholic for 8 years, then, or
yeah, the whole 8 years. Yep. The whole time we've been married. Yep. It was just I don't
Oh
even
my
know what was
God.
wrong with me. Yeah, it's just been a nightmare. But I mean, I love the house. It's the longest place I've ever lived anywhere in my life. My whole life. That's the longest I've ever. Because my dad, when he was in the army, we moved a lot, and I don't want to sell. I hate selling, but at the same time, there's black mold, and
Oh,
yeah, exactly. And every time I talk to somebody on the phone, like when a potential buyer, he is throwing a fit because I'm telling him the truth. I think you cannot lie to people. So what do you think? Somebody's just going to come over and pay you this money and not look at the house? How it's ridiculous. And
yeah.
he's back and forth. I just want to get it done because if it were up to him, he would sit right there and really until the people come to direct out for the property taxes. He really will. And I'm not making another payment on anything.
Oh
I'm
my
done.
goodness. Oh my goodness,
Yep.
Melina.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've had enough.
Wow. So, I mean, you've been dealing with this for a long time. Just good grief. I mean, how have you been hanging in there? I mean, this is a lot to deal with.
It is a lot to deal with, but the last like 6 months I've been thinking, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move. So that's just kind of keep it in my head
Yeah.
and stay
Yeah.
focused.
Okay. Well, excuse me. I'm fighting a cold here already here.
Yeah, it sounds like a couple people I've talked to today get a little bit of cold.
Oh
I'm glad
gosh.
that there's no distance between us.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. I do not want
Not
you to
even
get this
getting
cold.
cold.
We'll pause right there.
Well,
We'll see.
Are you local?
So we'll go ahead and we'll pause right there. So what did he do well there is he went back to check in on the seller, and that's a subtle way to get emotional impact, right? So a lot of times people hear NEPQ and they think, how does that make you feel? They think like that's the way that we go about the sales process is we're going to ask sellers on each call, how does that make you feel? But in reality, we rarely ask the question that directly, right? Kind of cringy. How does that make you feel? No, we don't do that. We'll do it a lot more subtly in a way that builds more trust. And so the first question he asks is, how long have you been dealing with all that? Gosh, it's been the last 8 years. Oh my gosh, Melinda starts really empathizing with her. And then from there, and how have you been? How have you been hanging in there? And she's like, yeah, it's been really, really tough. Right now, she's starting to talk about the emotional impact. We're getting them back into that emotional impact, getting them off the price, off the reasons why they love the house, and into the reasons why they want to sell it. And so that's a big part of it right there is going deeper and making sure that you're always getting to that emotional impact.
Yeah. So, John, question. So, why is it important? Why is it good to ask the length that they have stayed in that emotional state, and for how long they have been?
Yeah, think about it like this. Think about if you go to a doctor and you tell a doctor, man, I've just had this terrible shoulder pain. And they go, well, how long has it been happening? You're like, just an hour. They're going to be like, all right, bro, it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't really affect you that much because it's only been there for an hour. But what if you say, I mean, I've had the same pain for the last 15 years. That's a much stronger pain point, and you're thinking about how long you've been there. What it's also doing is it's building urgency for them to want to change. And so when you ask, how long have you been dealing with that? They're thinking, oh my gosh, I've been dealing with this for the last 8 years and now I'm sick of it. And so I'm sure this was probably somewhere in the call. I don't see it. We could continue to listen and poke around, but these are just kind of clips. Once you ask a seller how long they've been dealing with that, the next best question is, well, you've been dealing with it for the last 8 years. You've been thinking about this for the last 6 months. What came up recently that caused you to want to do this now? And so we can see, I don't know if we'll listen to this part as well, but we can see that he did ask somewhere in the call. Looks like he asked why, what prevented you from doing this in the past, which is a really good question to ask, because obviously someone's been dealing with something for 8 years. They've been thinking about it for the last 6 months. Then you want to find out what's preventing them from moving forward. You want to build that urgency. And so that's another thing that we would want him to go into, is that last part. That we'll do that for Jameson's call. The next call let's listen to a couple of the ones from Mr. Watson. Now, Mr. Watson's been crushing it. I think I saw him post. He locked up 4 contracts so far this month in the last 2 weeks. I think I saw him post that on Instagram.
Yeah, something like that.
maybe even more.
Watson
Watson's a very, very skilled salesperson. So let's see what kind of objections we have that Mr. Watson was hit with. So people that say they want to sell, but they keep delaying. I really want to take a listen to this one. This is one that people dive into, or they deal with a lot. I have to request access to this one. So if you want to give me access, or if you want to share your screen, we're going to listen to number 15, which is, what have you done so far to keep the house from going into foreclosure?
Clip 15 or
the 15, the clip 15. Yeah.
Okay. Let me share a screen right here. Then I think you can just put I think I'm sharing a screen. It's just that
I gotta add you to the stage.
Yeah, gotta add me to the stage.
All right, so we're gonna go into some objection prevention. Go ahead and hit the play button.
Yeah. Just for context, this one was Watson, and he got to kill one objection with this clip right here. Okay.
So I gotta ask here, like, what have you done so far to kind of keep the house from going into foreclosure at this point?
It's all me. Okay. And I've had some hacking done of my checking account, so I'm just trying to hang in there.
When was the last time you made a mortgage payment?
I just did a reorganization, and they put the 3 months that I owed on the back of the loan, with no interest, no changes, none of that.
Yeah. And when was the last time you made that payment? The mortgage?
About 3 months ago.
Oh, 3 months ago?
No, the mortgage is up to date.
Oh, okay. So you just did the forbearance situation? Okay.
Right.
Okay. And now if you don't continue the mortgage payment by August 15th, it's going to go into share sale. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. And I guess what was it like that caused you to stop making your mortgage payments to begin with?
I retired.
Oh, okay. That'll do it. That'll change things.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. I'm looking here for your property specifically. I pulled it up. It seems like there's a lot of 400 Glendale roads. Your unit is 33. This is in Havertown, PA, right? 190.
Correct.
Your unit specifically. Yours is a 2-bedroom or a 1-bedroom?
1 bedroom with a bonus room.
1 bedroom with a bonus room.
Evidently, the woman who owned it before the couple that I bought it.
And does that include like the forbearance amount and anything else? To be able to make that move, like when it's all said and done.
I spoke to a guy last week, and he said, like right off the top of his head, 215. And I looked at him like, "Are you crazy?" He's like, "No, I really think I can get 15 property." I said, "Okay, you go, guy." But I'm just looking for a way to get my mortgage covered so I can pay that off, and I owe a $6,000 judgment, and that's what they're going to put up for sheriff's sale. So I'm just trying to get out before anything horrible happens.
Yeah. Because that. And what happened with that guy who said 200 and change? I mean, that to me is a wild number. But like, what happened to him?
I haven't heard from him again because I didn't encourage him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool.
I'd like to be realistic. I don't want to be, oh yeah, we can get you 215 for
Yeah.
this. Yeah, really.
Yeah, that is. I mean, you're smart. You're a lot smarter than that. I mean, just taking a look at. I just found a unit now. Just really taking a look at what the units are selling for, and your unit specifically. That's tough. So and unrealistic, realistically, right? So
Right.
so you owe 80K total. You have a 6K judgment. Like, how much are you going to need to are you going to be renting or buying your next place?
It's going to be an assisted living facility.
Assisted living. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how much do you need to get in there?
Let's pause it
I
right there.
have no idea yet. I haven't.
You're right.
So now he's going to start talking about the need. So there were two parts of this. The first part was, what have you done so far to keep the house from foreclosure? I would challenge that you could even go deeper than this. So they say, well, I did a loan modification or a forbearance, and I put the back payments onto the end of the loan. She said that she retired. And so I would ask some further on questions on that. Well, hold on. Now that you're retired, are you able to make the payments if you absolutely had to? Just like, no, I can't make the payments anymore, right? Even if she's already knows that, just verbalizing it. When people verbalize, they internalize, right? So it helps them kind of overcome their own objection if that's the case. And then once he got that, I think he did a good job with framing. Hey, you're really smart that you didn't just take that $215,000 price that the realtor said they would list it for. That was a good identity frame. But most importantly here is going into the needs. So instead of focusing on what the seller wants, what Watson's doing now is he's saying, okay, you have an $80,000 judgment, you have a $6,000 or an $80,000 mortgage, $6,000 judgment. And then he's going to figure out, what does she actually need to get into that assisted living facility? And once he figures that out, now he knows what the bottom dollar is to actually solve that problem. So instead of focusing on the highest price or what the seller's wanting, he's focusing on what do they actually need in their pocket to get the result that they're after. So that was one of the things that Watson did really good there. I would challenge that you can go deeper on the what have they done so far to stop this from going into foreclosure. And now that the loan mod is taken care of, why not just continue to make the payments? So that way they completely crush that objection.
Yeah, that's really good. Actually, in my opinion, this woman, sometimes it seemed like it was very hard. It was a little bit harder to make her open up and like kind of expand on those things, right? I don't know if you noticed that. Like she had like some sort of like attitude or something like that. Like, what do you recommend when people, because people get nervous whenever other people like give them that attitude?
You got to be playful with them. So if you're like, oh, what caused you to get behind in the first place? Oh, I retired. Okay, hold on. Well, when you retired, did you just plan to stop making the mortgage payment, or what's going on over there? And then she's like, no, well, I didn't. Just being a little playful there. And this is whenever you get those type A sellers, it's important that you use a playful tonality to disarm them. So let's say you're talking to an investor and they say, I don't know, you guys buy houses, right? I was just trying to make an offer. Well, yeah, that is typically why people reach out to us. They're looking to get an offer on the property, but specifically for you, like a lot of people reach out because they want it quicker. What were you looking for? Then they'll answer the question because you were playful with them. So playfulness always disarms the prospect there when they are closed off.
I love that. All right.
Yep.
What about Go for it.
I got one more. So I really like this one. I want to hear how he handled this. By the way, guys, we haven't listened to any of these prior. We're doing them all on the spot. So you can stop sharing them. I'll share my screen. We're gonna listen to. It sounds like he hit some sort of trust objection. Like, how do I know you're not going to back out? Or maybe just planting a seed of doubt that the highest number is not always the best. So we're gonna listen to that one, and then that will be the last one that we wrap up with.
Oh yeah.
See how he handled this. If it loads. Ding, da, ding, ding. Here we go. Let's see if this one works a little bit better. Let me try the good old refresh button. And that sometimes works. I might have a dud over here, Esteban.
Not working.
Let's see. Sometimes Google Drive calls take a long time to upload.
Oh yeah. I can always play it too.
Find out. Yeah, do you have this one? This is clip 21.
Okay, clip
Do you want
21.
to try to share it?
Yeah, let me open it up.
We can edit this whole part out.
Yeah.
And I'll know if your editing team is any good, because if I go back and watch this and I see,
Coming Thursday.
oh, there we
Oh,
go. It's going now.
Thursday. So we have a 7-day inspection period, but
Okay.
anytime we're dealing with a foreclosure situation, we try to like do all of our due diligence long before that 7-day period, so that just in case we aren't able to perform, you have plenty of time to find another buyer. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay, yeah, just want to make sure that we're clear on that, because sometimes what some people will do, they'll have you sign a contract, and then 3 days before the sheriff's office say, "Oh, we can't close," and nobody's happy about that. So we try to do all of our
Right.
due diligence like as early as possible, just to get that out the way. Wednesday, we'll typically like to come out. Once the contractors are done with their day, sometime around like 5, between 5 and 6. Does that work for you?
On Wednesday?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it sounds like he's going over the agreement at this point. That actually didn't even sound like an objection. It sounded like he was just trying to plant a seed of doubt for other companies in case she was talking to other companies, because a lot of companies will do that, right?
Yeah.
I like to use this more in objection prevention whenever they're saying that they have a bunch of other quotes. I'll say, yeah, and here's the thing, like, you could be better off just going with the highest number. My only concern is typically the highest number. Those are the companies that will come and just lower the price at the very last minute. I mean, if you consider what would happen if you did just go with the highest price that ended up performing at that number, and then they left you high and dry at the last minute. Oh my gosh. Well, no, I haven't considered that. Yeah. What would you do at that point? Oh yeah. Well, then I would be screwed. So do you want to take that gamble if you didn't have to? No, absolutely. I don't. And that's a good way to overcome that objection. I like what he did is he just kind of planted it as a seed of doubt. So he just said, yeah, there's a lot of companies out there that will put a number on a piece of paper. They'll have these long inspection periods, and then they'll back out the very last minute. And obviously we want to make sure that you're 100% taken care of. So he's framing as on her side. I think he did a really good job at that.
So is this what a lot of people also call kind of scorching the earth or something like that?
Yeah. So the thing is, if you just shit talk other companies, you're going to sound bad. So if you're like, oh, well, have you considered, like, this other company does this, or did you look for this, or did you look for that? That's the scorching the earth strategy. So they'll just say, well, did you see if that company has good reviews? Did you see if the company has this? Did you ask about this? That's the scorching the earth strategy.
Right.
My preferred strategy is to help them see that the price is not the most important thing. Like, the number on the piece of paper is not the most important thing, because we know that that's true, but the seller doesn't know that it's true. We know that there's always going to be some knucklehead kid that doesn't know what he's doing. He's going to offer them a lot more money. And when people are in foreclosure, that could be really, really dangerous for them. right? So the way that we like to go about that is we'll say, hey, let's say that all the real offers come back around the same. The reason I say the real offers is there's obviously going to be some of those people that tell you a super ridiculously high number. They tell you what you want to hear. Now, obviously, you wouldn't just go with those people, right? And they're like, no, obviously I wouldn't do that. So they kind of admit that and like, right. So if all the real offers were to come back at the same price, how would you then decide on who to go with? And they'll say, well, probably whoever I trust the most. Hey, I'm so glad that you said that. Help me understand when you're trying to make that decision, what would you be looking for to know you are making the best decision for you? And then they will tell you, I'm looking for reviews, I'm looking for testimonials, I'm looking for this. Once they tell you that, now you know what to show them so that they do feel comfortable. That would be the difference.
Yeah. Yeah. What about this one right here? It says the commitment phase, during the commitment phase, where he gets I need to think about it. And I think this one a lot of people struggle with. You want to go over that one?
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen. Let's see how you handled it.
All right. So I'm going to share my screen right here. Going to give you guys context of this one first. So right here, we're talking clip 22. And he got I need to think about it. So I'm going to click on this clip right here, open it up to see how Watson actually handled it and see what type of coaching we can give. By the way, all of this, I believe if you start using AI platforms that you can run all your calls through, like all your closers calls through, you can start splitting sections of your closers or your own calls and give feedback. I've noticed that I've done it with ChatGPT where I feed up ChatGPT and then it's transcribed the entire call and it gives me like brutal feedback based on NAPQ and tells me the real straightforward feedback that no one will ever tell you, and it literally scores you very strong. But also there's other software out there that you can train that software to do. I've seen software like Kendo or similar to it, or even the Objection Proof AI software that kind of gives you stuff like that. There's some other ones that you can customize to your own coaching, but you can always do this type of evaluation, like diagnosis of your own calls using AI faster. You know what I mean? Because like you need this type of feedback on a daily basis, weekly basis from your sales managers, or you as a sales manager actually give it to your team, right? Did you use something specifically, John?
Yeah, I manually listen to my team's calls. Like if they're on a sales call and they're about to close the deal, I'll jump in and listen on whisper mode, and I'll help them close it.
Nice.
But I like that. Let's go take a listen to this one.
So, all right. Any questions there?
No, I think once I have a chance to take a look at the document, that should clear anything up.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll give you a call. It's 2:47 now. I'll give you a call right at 3:00.
You guys, do you get
so that
it playing
I give
in the
you some
background?
time to like review it.
Should be able to hear it.
Get some questions together if you have any, and then we'll touch base on.
I'm playing it
before you
authorize
it, or if you read it and
you're playing it as well.
you can authorize it.
Yeah.
By clicking those little yellow buttons, but I'll give you a call at 3 p.m. to touch base for sure.
Okay. Hopefully the phone will still be working.
Yes. Charge that thing.
Okay, so that's the wrong way to handle think about objection. So the right way, and let me listen to the last couple seconds and just see if he did. It doesn't look like he did because it should be longer than this. So let's see what he said at the end. Yeah, so that's the wrong way to handle it. Think about objection. You never want a lot of foreclosure off the phone. They're the squirmiest sellers in the world. They will ghost you, and you'll never hear back from them again most of the time. And so, what you want to do, if you want to just role play for a second, Esteban, I'll be the salesperson, and you're going to be the seller. Okay? Yeah, that's not a problem. When would be a good time for me to get back to you, just to make sure I'll be available?
Yeah. I mean, I will have to take a look at my my schedule, my time. I do have to do a few things, but it'd be best if kind of like go over this, myself.
Yeah, that's fine. And I just don't know if I'd randomly be available like that. So what I could do is I could pull up my calendar, you could pull up yours, and that way we're not chasing each other down. You're not chasing me down and vice versa. Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I've got 4:30 available. That's about 30 minutes from now. Does that work for you?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, let me just put that on the calendar and I'm going to send you an invite. So, did you get that? I just sent you a calendar invite to confirm.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, and hey, Esteban, real quick before I go, when you are thinking about this, what specific questions are you going to be running through your mind just so I can be better prepared for that next call?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I just want to make sure that there's this is the best way to go about getting outside of this and still getting the most amount of money, without feeling that I'm giving away my house.
Yeah, and look, that's my entire goal because if you don't feel 100% comfortable with this, it doesn't make sense for either of us to move forward. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So, what would you need to see to know that you are making the absolute best decision for you? You don't have to worry about doing this and then regretting it 3 months later, 6 months later, 12 months later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you guys have worked foreclosures, but I'm not sure if it's like similar to my situation. I think that I'm really deep in the water on this, and it sounds
Yeah.
like you guys know what to do. But yeah, that's kind of like,
It sounds like there's just a little bit of fear like we're actually going to get this done for you.
yeah, for sure.
Well, first, I'm really glad that you brought that up, and I'm glad that you're being transparent because that's one of the easiest things for us to solve. Now, I could go over what our other clients have wanted to see, but for you specifically, what would you want to see to know for sure that we are going to get this done and the bank's not going to end up taking the house?
If there is like some sort of commitment upfront from you guys that I'm gonna see some sort of money, and that that we can get that it's gonna be done. I think that
Sure.
that'll be easier. Yeah.
Like an earnest money deposit.
What's that?
Like an earnest money deposit, it sounds like.
I guess so. I mean, how much
Yeah.
would be?
So let's say that we did that, right? Let's say, and I have to go back to my team and see how much they're willing to do. But let's say I could do I could get them $1,000 or $1,500 earnest money deposit that basically says, hey, if we don't help you stop this house in the next 7 days from going to auction, you get that money. And I'm willing to risk whatever because I know we're going to do this. We've done this hundreds of times, so I'm not worried about it. But to make you feel comfortable, let's say I could do that. Let's say I could put an earnest money deposit down. Would that help you feel more comfortable knowing that we are going to actually get this done?
Yeah, for sure.
And if I could do that for you, would you have any other concerns?
No, that's I think that'll make it easier for us.
Okay. So would you be ready to go at that point?
I think so, yeah.
And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to get the earnest money deposit, put in the agreement, and send it over to him. That's how you go. Like a think about objection. That was a think about it to a fear to a closed deal, essentially.
Right.
They said they need to think about it. It turns into a fear objection. I don't know if you're going to actually perform. Then it turns into a closed deal.
Yeah. Oh, this is good, man. What would you say? What is the most underlying objection or a reason why people don't move forward that a lot of people don't uncover and don't handle? Because in my space, in my industry, it's fear. That's like the most common one. Like
That's the most common in every. Yeah. So this is the funny thing about sales. When you suck at sales, everybody that sucks at sales, they think that the most common objection is price. Like, oh, my seller wants too much money. But that's just because you're really bad at getting them to feel their pain points, getting them to get into that future state. So that's why you keep running into price objections. It's because they don't feel any urgency to want to move. So you're just going to get hit with price objection after price objection after price objection. Once you get good at the front end, once you get good at building real urgency, the biggest objection you're going to get is fear. It's going to be fear in you, meaning they don't trust you. They don't trust that you're actually going to get this done. That's what you just gave me, right? I'm not sure that you guys are actually going to be able to do it. And so you would handle that by asking them, what would you want to see to feel 100% comfortable that we are going to do this for you? Also, if you're better at the sales process, like the more trust you build through building a connection with the seller, the less you get a trust objection or a fear, that type of fear objection. The second one is fear of past experiences. They've been burned in the past. And so there's a frame that we give our students, and it's called "Don't get burned by the same mistake twice." It's essentially like this. Have you ever been, are you married right now? You're like, yeah. Have you ever dated someone in the past? Well, yeah. Well, what happened if you would have dated somebody, it went bad, and you would have swore off dating ever again? Like, yeah, I guess I wouldn't have met my wife. And you go, right. And so what would happen if you let that one bad experience prevent you from actually working with a good company? And they're like, oh yeah. So that's going to be fear of past experiences. The second one, the third one I should say, is fear of future change. And so this is very common with foreclosures. They're just like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Like, I don't know what's going to happen after I sell the property. I don't know where I'm going to go. And so what we do with those people is we get them back oriented on the future. I have an entire process. So we have fear of you. We have fear of future change. We have fear of past experiences. And then the last one is also pretty common with foreclosures, is fear of their own decision-making abilities. And by the way, like if you do sales calls for your agency and you ever get somebody that's like, man, my business is in a really bad spot, a lot of times they have fear of their own decision-making abilities. They're like, and foreclosures are very similar. They're like, I made a bunch of bad decisions to get here. And so I don't trust myself to make my decision to get out of it. And those people need reassurance. So what you need to do is you need to basically just help them see what happens if they don't do anything. And then what happens if they do. Kind of a best case, worst case. Like, what's the worst case scenario if you don't do anything? Well, I lose all the equity in the house, right? What's the worst case scenario if you do something? Well, I sell the house for a little bit less than it's worth. That's the worst case scenario, right? So what's the best case scenario if you do something about this? Well, I start this next chapter in my life, right? And the best case scenario if you don't is you still lose the house. And so out of those options, which one do you feel like will help you better? Is it continuing to believe that you don't have the empowerment to make this decision? Or is it empowering yourself to make this decision so that way you can start this next chapter of your life? So those are the 4 different types of fear objections. Obviously, we have like an entire breakdown of all of these. But once you get good at sales, you stop dealing with as many price objections. You stop getting commoditized and treated like everybody else. And you start to deal with other objections, which are fear objections. Those are the most common.
Okay, that sounds good, man. So I think if this video got you some value, again, there's a lot more objections that we have actually run through, and a lot of people go through every single day. And as you document them for your team, or we document them for our agency clients, for example, there's always going to be an infinite amount. The truth is that you need to learn how to handle those objections when they happen. And the most advanced people learn how to actually prevent it. So kill that objection, or as many objections as possible. I honestly, I think only low hanging fruits are the ones that don't give you objections whatsoever. And they're still going to give you objections, in my opinion. What's your opinion, John? You're still going to always.
Yeah, you're always going to win the laydowns. Like those leads were very, very motivated. Just to be fair, those leads that came in, like those were like 2 of the most motivated leads I've heard in a while. Like, it's ready to go. No, they're still, if you're terrible, you'll still lose those. You'll still lose some of those deals. But those were motivated leads. And that's usually what people are picking up. It's like the bottom of the barrel. Like they're like, oh, these are the motivated leads, and they're asking close to the same price. But once you get to the 30-40% close rate, and you're making offers on all your leads, and you're closing 30-40%, it is a lot more about building urgency when it doesn't seem to be there. getting them in that future state, preventing objections, and then getting their bottom dollar needs. That's what it takes to get to that higher level.
Yeah.
And by the way, guys, Esteban and I just announced that we are going to be collaborating on a new process for you guys. So everybody that signs up for Hustle Media is going to get a weekly call with me. You guys are going to get sales training every single week for our Hustle Media clients. Use the discount code Get Fucked. No, I'm just kidding. no discount codes. Sorry, guys.
All right, so we're gonna cut that obviously, but let's do a quick intro announcing this internally.
I already filmed this, by the way.
Oh, you did?
I already filmed. Yeah, I filmed this.
Okay, so you're just
we can do it again, but I filmed it, so I don't know if you want to. If you want to do it again, we can.
Okay, so that means that I just have to film my part,
your side,
and then you just
yeah.
Okay, cool. That sounds good.
Unless you want to do it right now, just really quick.
Let's do it right now, real quick.
Okay. Welcome to the new era of Hustle Media. There we go.